If you guys are okay, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and start. So obviously I'm Michelle. You know that, right? So I want everyone to introduce themselves so we can kind of get to know who you are, where you're from, what do you do, or why do you want to be on LinkedIn? And then we'll go from there. And, you know, because this at the top, at the end of the day, this is community. This is our community. It's not a group. So that's what I'm all about. So we'll start at the top. Arlene, I know she was the first to chime in. So we'll start there. And I think we're on the same path, but if not, I'll just call you in order and we'll go from there. So welcome, Arlene.
Hi, everyone. I'm Arlene. Let's see. I'm an undergraduate college student at UC San Diego studying molecular and cellular biology with double minors in Asian American and Pacific Islander studies and bioethics. Um, I know it's probably odd seeing me here, but I think for me, I wanted to join this challenge and just become more involved in a LinkedIn community because, you know, just for the heck of it, I decided creating content last summer, like right after I graduated high school, because I have a LinkedIn account from a few internships I've done. So I was just like, you know what, I like writing. I really don't have much to do over summer. Let's try and see what happens. And then it's kind of like overnight, I saw one of my posts got 1,000 views and so much engagement. And I was just like, whoa, I didn't know LinkedIn had the power to do this. And so now I have a bunch of connections and more followers than I would have like ever thought I'd have on here. And so I'm just really looking forward to continuing to expand my network, meet more people, especially as an undergrad college student hoping to go into med school, and, you know, just meet people on here and see what opportunities it brings.
That is awesome. Congratulations for getting on. I mean, it's never too early, and you've just the power of LinkedIn. It's nothing like you probably thought in high school, all right? It was
Yeah,
a pretty
no,
good job. Exactly. So I think I might even comment to you, you know, I think the earlier you get on, the better. So you're doing it all right. So glad you're here.
thank
Very
you.
cool. So if you hear my cat, I apologize. She's got trapped in my office, and so I hope you don't mind. Christy, it's good to see you. Christy's in, will you introduce yourself? And let's hear about what you're up to.
Hey everybody, Christy Meenan. I'm in Texas. I'm the owner of We Write It Now Resumes and Job Search Strategies. I help job seekers land jobs faster, and you know, I'm blown away. I continue to be blown away every single day by all that LinkedIn offers, you know, from community to learning to engagement to supporting others. It's just my happy place. And so I'm excited to be here and excited to get to know everybody.
Very cool. And I think did you already say you're from Dallas, right? So
Yeah.
awesome. All right, Ed, how are you doing?
Good. I'm excited to be here. I'm in Northern California, so just north of the Golden Gate Bridge, for those who are familiar with San Francisco area in wine country. And I am a video coach, so I help real estate agents and entrepreneurs get on camera and improve their videos. You probably couldn't tell with having my Costco bag behind me, but I'm house sitting, so we're casual today. And I'm just looking forward to being in this group and being able to step up my LinkedIn game. You know, this last year, I embraced the platform more, and I am making amazing connections and just enjoying it. Although, like Michelle said, there's obviously room for improvements for LinkedIn to step up their game, but you know, we'll roll with it. And I'm just excited to be getting to know more of you and supporting however we can.
So good to have you here, Ed. Thank you. Hey, Aaron, how are you?
I'm good. Well, my name's Aaron. I'm founder of Trestle Hospitality Concepts. I do hospitality and food service consulting for the senior living industry. I'm based in Fort Worth, so it's still not far away from me. And really, truly, you know, I'm bootstrapping it. This is week 6. And so, you know, I've done a lot digging around, what can I do, you know, to make connections and start networking. And, you know, I spoke with another consultant, and he did a 90-day challenge on LinkedIn. And he said it changed the way his business is going. It basically turned it around. And so he challenged me to 90 days. And then I saw the 365 challenge right before the end of the year. And I said, well, if I'm doing 90, I might as well just go all out. As soon as LinkedIn came out, I was on. But I never really used it much. So, you know, I'm wanting to network, use it for marketing, and I'm really wanting to get a lot from the group on content and really that the strategy behind it.
So glad you're here. And you're right. People do 30 days, 90 days. And a year ago, I said, why not do every single day? So I'll tell you about that. And there's some original people like Jacob. He can talk about it. But anyway, we're going to form a great habit because it is a habit now. It's a life. It's like that, they say don't lose weight, make it like a lifestyle. This is like going to be your LinkedIn lifestyle in a good way. So we'll talk about it. So glad you're here, Erin. Nikki, how are you? So glad you could join us. I know you can't stay long. So glad to have you
Hey
here.
everyone. Hey, I'm Nikki. I have been so I live in London in the UK. I was on LinkedIn, I want to say 5-6 years ago, like quite a long time ago. And then I came off it because I really didn't understand what value I would get from it. And I didn't really want it to be like an online CV. Like that's probably how I envisaged it to begin with. And I didn't really want all of that information public and out there, and I didn't see like the other value to it. Probably about 2 or 3 months ago, I came back on again to LinkedIn, and primarily my reason for coming on to LinkedIn is to build my own brand. I work within the pharma industry, so I don't have my own company, but for me it's about sharing the voice that I have, writing basically the thoughts, my musings, my take on the things that are going on in the world. I work in the diversity and inclusion space, so that's what I'm passionate about, as well as mentoring and coaching myself and others. So those are the things that I'm passionate about. So really the way in which I've used LinkedIn so far is to talk to whoever's willing to listen. I think at the moment I would say I'm on the early stages, and I think with this group it would be really good to almost be able to get past the point of when you don't have that many people that are engaging with your content, and that can be then quite easy to think, oh well, I just won't bother, right? Okay, because particularly if you spend some time putting the content together and then you think, oh wow, so I think it's just, from what I'm hearing from yourself, Michelle, it's about consistency. And I guess also there's probably some tips and tricks that perhaps I'm missing out on that would drive the engagement. I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to be me. So I see people and they have like, I don't know, 10,000 likes and however many hundreds of comments. And then when you post something and you don't see that, you're like, okay, right, okay. But then I've literally been doing this for about 11 days. So I don't think I can expect overnight success. So I think that's really what I would want from the challenge in the group, to keep going despite, early slow start.
You are not alone, and you just started. And I know, like when we get to Jacob, he was one of the originals last year, and he's going to give some good. He can tell us some good things because he's got some great answers too. It's a community thing. We're growing together. We've got some good things. We're going to address that. Thank you, Nikki. Arlene, too. How are you, Arlene? Good to have you here.
Hi, Michelle, everybody. It's good to be here. It's good to start off something new.
Yes.
In the new year. I'm all about building. Last year, my word of the year was building all kinds of things, building muscle, building money, building community, building networks, building construction, everything building. And so towards the end of the year, I decided that I really wanted to get back onto LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a member of LinkedIn for many, many years, but most of what I had been doing is reading and liking and a comment here or there, congratulations and those kinds of things. I haven't really put myself out there as my own content or building anything of my own, just shadowing other people. And I want to change that. I think I have a message and I want to bring other people into that message with me. So like, I think it was Ed a while ago said, step up my LinkedIn game. I really want to do that. And this challenge has come at a really good time for me. So it's that structure that I needed. And I really want to learn. I want to learn everything from everyone. I don't know that I know now how to do that well outside of this group. I said I posted that today, but that's what I'm here to learn.
Awesome. No, that's great. You're in the right place. Where are you calling from, Marlene?
I am in St. Martin, for those of you who know the Caribbean. On the Dutch side, I see Ed shaking his head, nodding, yes. and I am from the Caribbean. I'm from the Dutch Caribbean, so I move around the Dutch Caribbean pretty much, and
Okay.
lived and worked in all parts of the Caribbean. So
Very cool. Well, so
Yeah.
glad you're here. And this is what we're going to learn and grow and get all the things. So you're in the
Thank
right
you.
place. Glad you're here.
wonderful, wonderful.
All right. Hey, Nancy. So glad to have you here. How are you?
I am good. How is everybody doing? I'm going
Good.
to try something new today. I'm going to hide my self view so I'm not staring at myself when I talk.
Yes.
So that was something that I learned recently, which is great. Now I just see you and I don't see me. I love this. So I live on Long Island, Rockville Centre. I own a creative advertising agency. I mostly do work for magazine subscriptions. I do direct mail and email. But I'm in transition. I've been in transition since pre-pandemic, so like January 2020, where I'm trying to find some clarity about what I want to do next. So yes, my business is still open and I'm still doing work for clients, but I'm also looking to possibly go in client side and work at a creative agency or go into either corporate event planning or something along those lines. The reason why I'm here is because I would say during the pandemic, I was very active on LinkedIn. I used to have friends say to me, wow, Nancy, I see you again. You popped up again in my feed. And I thought, oh, that's a good thing. And then a friend of mine said to me, well, what exactly are you trying to get out of posting? And then I stopped and I thought, I really don't know. I mean, I don't really know why I'm posting. And then I kind of got wrapped up in my head and then stopped. And then I started up again, I think before the end of the year, end of 2021. And then Michelle, you had put that challenge out there. And I thought would be really good because I have this calendar that my husband gave me for the first night of Hanukkah. And it has all these different like awesome tips and tricks. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to use that calendar as a way to post every day. And would you believe that I actually blocked my husband and my daughter because my daughter's very judgy, but I blocked them like during the pandemic because they would constantly say to me, and not necessarily, not online, but to my face, like, what are you posting? So I needed to get them out of my head.
Yeah.
So I have blocked my daughter, I have blocked my husband, and I do have other friends and family members that are on LinkedIn, but I know they don't necessarily see all of my posts, right? Or my comments. But it was better for me to be able to express myself without having anybody, you know, whispering in my ear.
That's true. Wow. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, the fear of judgment is why a lot of us don't get out there. The fear of your old coworkers. When I started getting out there, I had this weird thing about the people I used to work with. Don't ask me why. Like, there's this great quote by Eleanor Roosevelt that said, I need to pull it up, but it's something like, you shouldn't think about what people think about you if you realize how seldom they really do, you know? And no offense to anyone, like we think people care more than they do, you know, like they're thinking about themselves. So overthinking is a massive problem. And I know the days when I was posting and I'd get too busy and not disciplined and post later in the day, the longer I waited, overthinking would get me. So we'll talk about some strategies for that because that's huge. But great to meet you, Nancy. So glad you're here. So I want to make sure we get through everyone. So I want to go to Sharon next. How are you, Sharon? Good to have you here. Where are you calling from?
I am well. I recently moved to the Washington, D.C. area in the U.S. from Western New York. So everyone here is like, oh, it's so cold. And I'm like, it's so much warmer than where I moved from. So it's 20 degrees is relative when it's -10 from where you moved from. So when someone said they were from, Arlene, the Caribbean, I'm like, oh, let's all go there. At any rate, I started a business a few years ago out of necessity because my existing business completely was COVID toast. So I am assisting software as a service executives to be more present. So I am what I self-titled myself an idea wrangler, a content curator. I don't create it. I just, you know, like the museum, they bring me the artifacts and I show them how to display them. And I use those ideas to accelerate their influence because in the scale-up phase of business, every 18 months or so, they need a new role. And if nobody knows who they are, you know, you may be like a chief product officer or a chief marketing officer, you know, and had for, you know, $100 million company, but the company gets acquired or has an IPO and you don't have a job. So I teach them strategies how to be more expressive, and it's amazing when you talk about, you know, the fear of judgment of many of them. I look at them and I'm like, you're so accomplished. Why won't you share your ideas? And they're like, I don't want to brag. I don't want, and I'm like, you have to be more visible. So you have to frame it in like sharing your value instead of like bragging. You're actually doing a service by telling people what you can provide to them. So I know all these things and I talk about all these things all day to people, and I get them to do so for themselves, and I don't do it for me. So that's why I joined. Because
That's
I
awesome.
have a little bit of accountability. I said, I know all the strategies, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I just, at the end of the day, like you said, for me, it's, I spend the whole day sort of curating content for other people, and then it's like, where do I start and where do they end and where do I start? So it's just like the ideas that I gave them, or the, you know, sparks that I used for them, are they mine? Or are they theirs? So I don't know. So at any rate, I've been posting intermittently for probably a year and a half. And when Nikki said, you know, who said that they're not, and she's only been 11 days. And I was like, oh, I have so many more wounds, because I post stuff and I get like 40 views, and I'm like, and then I have ones that are like 6,000 or 7,000, and I'm like, I don't understand why, but I just keep posting.
Well, that's good. So I'm glad, you know, we all overthink it and we put everyone first and neglect ourselves. So this is what this challenge is about too, to put yourself first, you know, in a good way so you can help others. So glad to have you here, Sharon. So
Thank you.
Jacob, welcome. I think he is the only one here who is from last year's challenge. So good to have you here. And when you introduce yourself, give him some pep talks, because he is the CEO of Smiles, by the way. So he's full of them. So good to have you here, Jacob.
Nice to be here. Nancy taught me something new. I can hide my face. So I've done that. So this is different, but I think it's nice. But yeah, I just threw the CEO of Smiles my headline. My headline's ever changing. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I've been doing it for a while. Yeah, it's an ongoing battle. The engagement and the views, you start to get more comfortable. I'm probably more comfortable than I am right now, just throwing things out there. But I don't, you know, I met Michelle, like, I want to say like my first interaction with Michelle was like probably Christmas. I want to say it might have been Christmas Day with Clubhouse buzzing, and I didn't know Michelle at all, but yet she sent me an invite, which was a big deal when Clubhouse first started. So that's how I got on Clubhouse. But it's just been, you know, it's been fun to follow along with different people. But yeah, 365 was just crazy. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do every single day, but I did what was manageable for me, which is more aligned with this year, what we're at.
Yeah. And real quick, before we go on someone else, talk to him, because I think is it true that like the more you stayed in, the more you saw your engagement grow, and you stayed in the game and it grew for you? Is that right?
Yeah. You know, it's really a roller coaster, because you'll feel like you're on, you know, to something, and then it'll plummet a little bit, rise. You know, there are some days now, like, okay, so I had a post, for example, yesterday. I think it's sitting at like 400 likes. Have no idea why, except my family's adorable and people like them. But then, you know, like a day or two before that, there was something that was like, you know, 50 or whatnot. So it's just drastic changes. You never know what people are going to resonate with. So it's really about just testing, throwing things out there, and just not really worrying as much what people think, but also taking into account what people are thinking, so that you can plan like your, you know, future, how just continue to get better and better over time and more comfortable.
Yeah, really good. And before I go on to Mitra, hopefully I say it right, you are very much a proponent of being personal on LinkedIn and not boring and all that good stuff. So we may be coming back to you for some of that good in stuff that you're really good at. So thank you.
I am happy to help anyone any way I can. I will be your cheerleader.
Yeah, he is. He's like the LinkedIn cheerleader. He's awesome. So anyway, good to have you here, Jacob.
Thanks, Michelle.
All right. It does say it right. Is it Mitra? Pretty name. Did I get it right?
Oh, thank you. That was perfect.
Oh, good. Good to have you here. Good.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have an elevator pitch or anything. I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm a marketing manager in-house. And I don't know, a few months ago, I thought that maybe I should start posting on LinkedIn a bit, because I noticed how it's really nice when you, I don't know, I spent quite some time on YouTube, and I was watching, I don't know, some tutorial or something. And it's really, wow, they're so great, they're so fun, I don't know, really approachable or relatable or whatever. And you actually just get that if people show you who they are. So I was thinking, yeah, if anyone, or if I would like to find people who resonate with me and also find people I resonate with, then yeah, it's really time to put myself out there more and to just see what happens. So it's really just really about networking, actually, just because this is really nice. So hello everybody, because I am the only marketer in-house, and it's kind of lonely when you never ever get to talk to people, even if it's not your own industry, even if you're like a solopreneur or something, who, yeah, people who cannot do the same thing, or at least, I don't know, try. So yeah, it's really nice to meet new people and yeah, just see kind of what happens. Even though engagement would also be nice, of course. But yeah, it's really, really about just building a network and having fun with other people. And so happy that LinkedIn is evolving. Like I said today, you saw that, because it was so terrible before. Maybe because my network was all wrong, because it was like colleagues and people from before, again, nobody from my industry or hardly anyone, and just people who are not really active on LinkedIn. So it was really, really weird. And I didn't really want to post anything, because I thought, oh, then I will show up in their feed all the time because I'm the only one who's doing it. But yeah, so I got over that. And now they just have to deal with it if it's really showing up that much. But I'm guessing that there must be some kind of algorithm as well. They don't see everything I do. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, good. Well, good to have you here. So, hey, Nikki, before you have to leave, let me know, because I want to take a group picture. Okay. Because I know you have to leave early. Okay. All right. Stacey, how are you?
Hi.
Good to have
Good.
you here.
Yes. Good to see you. Hi, everybody. I'm Stacey Danheiser. I, like Michelle, came from a corporate marketing background. And so moving out on my own, it was like, I felt really comfortable talking about the company. But then when it came to talking about my own stuff, it was like, So I right now, I work with B2B marketers, and I have a consulting business where I help with strategy and with customer research. And then I also started a new online community where I am mentoring marketers to help them gain credibility and more confidence and learn strategy so that they can get a seat at the table. So my focus for my content is basically around motivating people and instilling confidence and kind of teaching marketing strategy. It's a little bit hard for me because I have a lot of content and a lot of content ideas kind of swirling around. So my biggest challenge is organization, because I have like 700 drafted posts that I never seem to finish. I'm like, oh, this would be a fun idea. Oh, wait, this other thing. And then I have to like get myself to sit down and focus on finishing one of the posts. And I think, and what I'm trying to figure out this year, I think that some of those smaller, breaking basically a big concept into something smaller. And how do you do that on LinkedIn so that people are like feeling they can do some type of small action? And for me, I just haven't figured out what that thing is yet, because I'm teaching strategy. So it's not like, hey, go build a strategy. Like there's a huge sort of learning curve, related to strategy. And so and it's not, there is no immediate payoff necessarily. So I have to figure out and just sort of, think about what that looks like. I will say I joined this because I worked with Michelle. She was my personal brand strategist. So she was helping me organize that. And I would always see all of her content on LinkedIn. And I'm like, gosh, she's so freaking consistent. Like I need to have somebody hold me accountable to be consistent. So I'm very excited to be part of this group for the consistency and just the accountability, and to learn from all of you and little tips on productivity and that. And the other thing is, I will say I've kind of been doing this in tandem with Twitter, because there's a pretty big marketing Twitter community. So sometimes I go into Twitter and I can like rip off an idea really quick because it forces you to be brief. and I can kind of test it there and see if it works before then taking that and posting it on LinkedIn. So I'm kind of playing around both of them at the same time.
Are you finding the same tweet that gets traction there works here? Or have you tested not?
I have tested that, and I think that it's what I've noticed is that it's short, right, on Twitter. And people want a little bit more depth, a little bit longer on LinkedIn. So just kind of putting a quick little, I have to put a little more context, I think, into the LinkedIn one, because it seems like people are like, huh, what? This feels like it's coming out of left field versus,
Yeah.
you know, I have to put like a little bit more bookends to it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I haven't been on Twitter in forever. I never tweet. I just reshare whatever. So anyway, great to have you here, Stacey. She's calling from sunny South Florida, so don't be jealous. Anyway, Andrea, did I get that right, or is it Andrea? It's good to have you here.
Hi, it's Andrea. Thank you. So I am a PR strategist and copywriter for women, for females in the arts and culture sector. So dancers, artists, musicians, and then the organizations that support them, nonprofits and advocacy groups. And I don't really love social media, honestly. I really don't. However, I decided if I was going to pick one and kind of just make it the one, that it was going to be LinkedIn. So that's why I decided, oh, this is perfect. This is a great thing for me. Although it's day 12, right? 11. I don't know what day it is. And I've only made a couple comments. So I have a little bit of work to do on it, but yeah, so that's what I'm here for, is to just really have, you know, the inspiration and the accountability and the motivation and the fun.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you can catch up. That's the beauty about this year's challenge. You know, you can just catch up on comments. So that's doable. So it's good to have you here. Where'd you say you were calling from? Did you say, or did I miss it?
Oh, no, I didn't. I'm in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin.
Milwaukee. Okay. Good to have you here. And now we're going to go to Kevin and then we'll take a picture. I know Nikki had to bail before. I'm sorry I didn't catch your picture. Kevin, good to see you. He's in Pensacola, Florida, where I live. Right, Kevin? How are you today?
All right. So, hey, I'm Kevin Hammer. I don't have no sales pitch or some, you know, elevator pitch. I'm actually a financial advisor that works specifically with business owners. And I wanted to join after talking to Michelle. When we talked, maybe 6 months ago, been a while, of just learning motivation from you all and content, because I don't like selling. So, and I'm certainly not going to put out their financial stuff and whatnot. Just trying to market yourself, be personal, because people want to know you, right? I will say, there's no physical way I could do the 365-day challenge. And I'm not saying that to be lazy. I'm saying that because I am very restricted on compliance. So if I wanted to make a post right now, it probably wouldn't get posted until tomorrow by the time it went through compliance. So you won't see me share like your stuff. I can't do it. There's a lot of stuff I can't do, certain words I can't say, but I'm hoping to learn from you guys. That's really why I'm here, for inspiration, for making content.
You can comment, right? Under certain things.
We finally, from last time we talked, Michelle, I can finally comment. As you see, I comment on yours. I can like certain words I can't say, but I definitely can't share your post. It's almost like, well, you didn't get permission to write that post. It's
It's hard for your industry. I know. I've worked with clients in the financial sector, but hey, you can comment now and that will get you exposure, visibility. So we want you to do the challenge, even if you just have to comment 365 times. Okay. So keep that in mind.
Comment every day. Don't get me wrong there.
Well, then, so you're going to be able to do it. Because remember, this year is being active, and that's either a post or comment. So you'll be in it. So you're going to do it. So great to have you here, Kevin. Great to have you here. All righty. So we are at, is it Shanti or say it again? I'm sorry. I'm terrible at pronunciation. Can you say? Okay. It's good to have you here. Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm from India. My name is Shruti. You can call me Shru if that's easier to pronounce.
Okay.
So firstly, I mean, lots of wonderful people. I am a fresh graduate from college and I got into human resources. I'm the HR manager at a marketing company. And resources, I mean, human resources, right? And LinkedIn is full of humans who are in the corporate field or freelancing or just students who are our potential, young professionals. So I'm on LinkedIn to mainly understand what people are looking for from their job experience or what they're looking for generally, because even through the pandemic or before, employee experience is improving day by day. Everything revolves around the employee more than the customer, because human resources is the most precious thing that the company can bag on. So that is my primary goal. But I also like marketing a lot because it's very witty, it's very smart, and I really like the whole creative sphere of it. So I think personal branding is one of the best ways to test out marketing yourself, putting yourself out there. So I have been posting quite regularly, if not every day. I do get to post about 4 to 5 times a week, but I'm not able to get that engagement like a lot of you mentioned, because I probably don't know who my target audience are, or I don't know, maybe how to put it. So that's what I'm here to learn, how to build a community more than just, I don't know, just posting for nobody. So engagement is one of my biggest takeaways, something that I'm looking for. And also engagement from people whom I can learn from, because I'm very fresh to this corporate industry in general, and to, of course, talk to lots and lots of professionals who can enhance my knowledge and also help me create policies and make the user experience better for my employees back in our company.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's great. Well, so glad you're here, and you're so right. Watching and learning is a big part of it. So we're so glad you're here. Let's get on this. So we all introduced ourselves. A lot of us are in the same boat. I want to hear, like, let's talk about this group. What's the best thing to do? Like, let's face it, LinkedIn groups don't go show you all the time. Would you guys be more interested in like showing up or some other platform? Or let's talk about this. What you guys, this is our group. So tell me what you guys think. Anyone have suggestions? And then let's go for some LinkedIn stuff too. What do you think? Are you seeing stuff? Is it hard to find the posts? What are you guys seeing?
I mean, I see the stuff on my left-hand nav.
Okay.
It shows up under,
but not necessarily the post. You see your group stuff, but not the post. So I just don't want to make sure you miss it, because I'm trying to chime in. And do you see, what do you guys, anyone else? What are you thinking?
I think for me, when it comes to LinkedIn groups, especially, because obviously, like you said, it doesn't get a whole lot of love, but even, you know, if I relate it to something like Facebook groups, it's so hard to see posts because of all the clutter in the feed and everything. So for me, I found that it can be challenging to see those types of things these days pop up just in our feed, because when you post, let's say you post something at, 11 o'clock, doesn't mean that we're all going to see it at 11 o'clock, or even sadly that day inside the group. So that's the only thing when it comes to posting on the platforms themselves, I can see as challenging.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm doing this the right way or the best way, but this is how I'm doing it. So y'all coach me.
Wait, Christy, you're talking. Okay, yeah.
I go up to the search bar and I just type in hashtag 365-day challenge, and I just comment. So I don't know if those people are actually in this group. Just wherever I see that hashtag, I try to engage. So I don't know. I'm open to suggestions.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. There's a page, and here's the actual, I'm gonna give everyone right now the link to the group. You can just bookmark that and get straight to the group. Okay. Hang on. Where's the chat? Because here it is, because that's the problem. And there's like, when you go to the page, there's a sign up button. So if you want anyone to join, give me a second. I don't know why my chat's messing up here. It won't let me go. I'm telling you. Come on, chat. Oh, I know why. I think it's down below. Hang on. I think it's shoved up below. You can bookmark it, just like when you comment on people, you can bookmark on their stuff. Bear with me 1 second. My chat, there it is. There it is. Okay, here it is. All right.
Are we supposed to be posting in that group?
Not your posts, because Jacob, remember last year when people just started throwing their posts in there? First of all, it looks like an engagement pod, but this is certainly not. And when you start posting and just throwing your link of your post, then it just clutters the feed and you can't see the good stuff. You remember that, Jacob?
Yeah.
Yeah. So put your questions, put your comments. We're doing the best we can with what LinkedIn group provides us. That's why I was like, is there another place? But here's the thing. We have so many places to go. I just want us to find a place where we can keep the comments and learn from it. So that's why I try to pin the daily post. So we'll try our best with this. I'm going to schedule another call in 2 weeks because I think every 2 weeks is sustainable. Once a week's too much. Once a month, we kind of forget about each other. We don't want that. So do you guys think 2 weeks, Ed, to answer your question, you think 2 weeks, every 2 weeks is a good thing to keep us all? And what I was thinking, and hear me out, like, we can't introduce each other all the time. We want to get to the good. We all have time crunch. So I want everyone to go, what's our struggle? Let's talk about where we can engage and do whatever the topic of the day is. Do you guys want training on engagement? I can help you with the profiles and all this stuff. So this is like a free for all. Tell me what you guys want to see, need help with. Sharon, sorry. Or wait,
I'm sorry, I wanted to give a suggestion. So there's a bell icon. I think there's a new feature on LinkedIn. It was released very recently. So even for the 365 challenge group, there's a bell icon. I just pressed it. So every time somebody posts, you get a notification. So that way you won't be missing out on any post.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, make sure your announcements for this group are tied on if you want. Now you can mute us too. You don't have to, but if you want to keep up, that's certainly, because look, there's 525 people in here. Not all of them are active. And I get that, right? So this is for the people who want to show up, be action taking, build their brand, community, all the good stuff. So anyone else have any suggestions on what you want to see and need help with? Raise your hand. Let me know.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
Stacey.
I love, I guess, good examples. Like, I think it's helpful,
Okay.
profile reviews or,
Okay.
hey, like who was it? Jacob was talking about, hey, this piece of content, people that like are finding stuff that's working. Like, this is really interesting. I got a lot of engagement on this thing, so that maybe we can,
Tell us about that. Now,
dissect that or
Jacob,
learn about it.
I agree. Visuals and examples make so much easier. You can, put in place. I think, Jacob, tell us about it. I think if I remember that post you're talking about, it was amazing picture of you and your family and your kids, right? Tell us about that. And how often do you do stuff like that?
I don't really know what I was doing. I mean, the reason I like to share pictures, I don't like to share pictures all that often because I don't want to clutter things just like Facebook or whatnot with a bunch of pictures. If you want to see pictures, you can just find me on Facebook. You can stalk me all you want, find my pictures. But, for your audience, I threw it out there. I think the last time I put up a photo of my kids was maybe 6 months back, but they're really important to me. So I shared them in the post. The post wasn't even related to the picture itself. I wasn't really sure what to write, but the post was something else about being yourself. And so, I mean, I don't really expect that level of engagement ever. And it gets time consuming too, also replying.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I don't think I ever want to be someone with, 500,000 followers or 100, because I'm real big about being responsive and having to answer those. It's a flurry. So, you pick your goals here for one thing. I'll give you some points. Like last year, I started this challenge on a whim because the whole year of 2020, I was on here commenting, connecting, and I'll admit it, I was consuming or learning, lurching, or whatever you call it. Lurking. And I saw the people that were doing content. I was like, how do they do it? How do they think of stuff to do all the time? But I just saw them get so much traction, and I know I needed to be out there anyway. So I finally took the plunge and started this challenge, and it was great. I mean, it was changed me. It was hard. That's why this year, where I'm not suggesting we do this every day. Some days I would wake up and go, why did I say I was going to do this? But I did it. I mean, I started, so I couldn't do it. And it was like running Ironman ×3 for me. But hey, you don't have to do it 7 days, but if you want to, you can. But what kept me going was just showing up every day. I didn't think about it like 365. I just said, I got to do today's post. I got to do today's. And when you start being active, you will learn, you'll meet people, the ideas start flowing. 95% of the people on LinkedIn are just watching you because they're scared. They don't want to put themselves out there. So you can't discredit the fact that just because not everything gets engagement, that you're not making a difference, because you are. So I saw a ton of people in the 365. Jake, remember, they were all active. It's like joining the gym and then they disappear, which was sad because the people who kept at it, oh my gosh, I have a podcast episode with, Michael Scott and Britt. You're good friends with Britt. They did a LinkedIn Live with me in September, October, and Jacob was in a lot of the commenting. They stuck at it, I think, almost toward the end. And they will tell you, if you want some inspiration, I can link to that on what they did and how they grew. Do you remember, I should get Britt on here too. Do you remember Britt, Jacob? Like, I think he just can't, he works for Phillips 66, by the way. I
Yeah.
had zero idea.
Oh, wow.
about that. Talk about grow your brand and not work for a company. But do you remember Britt? I don't think had any engagement and they just kind of blew up. Do you remember Jacob? Because you're good friends with him.
I mean, yeah, I can't remember when I connected with Britt, but I want to say it was even before the challenge. But yeah, he just continued at it. You know, you just keep at it and keep at it. There are times you're just thankful to have anybody show up, and really, it has very, very, very little to do with the content whenever you're first starting out. I mean, you just don't have as much eyeballs on it. Like Mitra, if you look at hers, she's doing fantastic. Like, there's nothing she really needs to do to change except just continue to do what she's doing and connect with people and engage with everybody. So really, it's hard to know really what's really good. You have no idea. You just keep going. But yeah, he just kept going at it no matter what he was doing, and he's had a lot of fun, and it just continues to grow.
Yeah, and he labeled himself like the funniest accountant on LinkedIn or something. So
Yeah.
getting out there every day, you will find clarity in yourself, clarity in your content, clarity in the comments. But when I was in kindergarten, I guess I came home crying because I didn't have any friends, or it was hard to make friends. So my mom told me this little cliche thing that I've always remembered. She's like, Michelle, to get a friend, you have to be a friend. And I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know how to do that. So anyway, same thing here on LinkedIn. You just got to go and give, and just comment galore, get to know the people you want to get to know, and they will become your friends and your colleagues, and you just get to know these people. It's like working a network, being in a networking room and seeing the same people every day. And so I think the people, when you just, and here you are thinking, Michelle, well, I don't have all the hours in the day. You can carve out a certain time in the morning or the afternoon and just set your clock, because I admit it's a time warp here, right? You will look up and no one has time for that. So just try to give more and comment more at first to get on people's radar and get to know people, those are some tips right now. Anything else?
Can I add to what Jacob said?
Is that Christy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, this is Christy. He is spot on. When you're early on in developing your brand or engagement on LinkedIn or whatever, if it's early on, don't worry about what you post and the responses, because it really doesn't matter. You will start to, like you said, Michelle, you will start to realize what your big value add is, and you will learn what people are looking for. As you engage with other people, you'll get ideas on what to post. And I can't tell you how many times I'll have somebody reach out to me privately and they're like, I've been watching you or following you on LinkedIn for months. And I'm like, I don't even recognize who your name is. Like, who are you? But they say they've been following me. So it is not at all about the likes. It's about commenting, engaging, interacting 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could be connected with someone for, I think, 6 months, sometimes a year, and then they'll reach out and say something that you don't hardly recognize them, or you've never really conversed with them, but you've been connected for a while. So sometimes it just takes time for people to come around.
It sure does. That's a great point. Same with me. People get in my DMs or want to have a consult or whatever, and they're like, oh, I just follow your stuff. And I didn't have any idea. So that just reminds me, you just can't look at ahead one day at a time. And
so Michelle, can I ask a quick question? It's Nikki. I'm not Xperia anymore. I'm back on my laptop. So yeah, I'm almost just thinking, I've heard a few things about, finding your kind of what your gem is, what you're good at. I almost think that from what I'm hearing is by posting different types of content that feels right at the time and seeing how that lands and how that makes you feel, I almost feel like that will help you identify what you want to post about more. So you might post about 5 different types of things. I think I saw something here about content pillars, which is probably quite a good thing that I'm interested in. So I almost think that that's certainly for me an area to think about, is what is my value and what do I want to post about? Because I don't have a business, I'm not an entrepreneur or a founder, and so that would be obvious that I'd be posting about my business to get clients, to get customers, but that's not me at this moment. So I think it's just about putting myself out there, because I want to know that when I want to find an opportunity, if I want to start my own business, then I have a group of people that, so I'm almost like planning for that could be there in the future, or if not, it's just almost having a network of people that I can help, and that other people can also identify opportunities that might be fitting for me based on how I've offered value and how I've put myself out there. So I think, to me, what I would like to get from this group is almost, support coaching on kind of how to find that voice, or find that niche that
that's
particularly
really
when
good.
it's not obvious, right? So I think if you're an accountant and you're posting about how to do accounting made simple, then that's like really obvious that that's what you do. But if it's not an obvious avenue, I think that certainly is what I'm struggling with. I'm posting about stuff and I'm like, is this any use? But it's in my head, so I'm just putting it, I'm just talking about what's there.
Well, like our friend Britt, like he calls himself the funniest accountant on LinkedIn, but you will find him post zero accounting content. Am I right, Jacob? I don't think he posts like Friday is dad jokes. He posts like inspirational stuff, motivational stuff. I need to go look at his content again, but he posts zero accounting content. I didn't even know he worked for Phillips 66 until.
And I'm the same. I work for Enterprise Fleet Management. I never talk about.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I work in the automotive industry. I'm ASE certified and all that good stuff, but I never talk about any of it. I don't know why. I mean, I don't like, whenever I first started, I had no need, no entrepreneurship, no even real desire. I just started writing and throwing things out there, very much like you're saying, just off, top of my head. Maybe I'm feeling inspired, or maybe I'm feeling depressed and I want to tell people that, the spin on it, whatever, everything that I do pretty much is not scheduled. It just is thrown out there. So it's you just testing, see what people like, see what you like.
Exactly.
Go from there's my thoughts.
Michelle, I think that goes back to what you were saying earlier, and somebody brought it up, is having examples. So you mentioned the accountant. I think that will be helpful for everyone, is if we have various examples of people who are hardcore LinkedIn professional, right? Like everything's like, because when I first started LinkedIn, it was too stuffy for me. Like I'm a Facebooker. I don't love Facebook like to the end, but I'm more of the Facebooker because it's a little more comfortable, and it's just, I can be professional, but I can also just be hanging out on the couch, right? And so LinkedIn was a little too stuffy. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna embrace it, and I'm going to shake things up as much as I can, because it's me using the platform. So having those different profiles, I think, will be cool for all of us to recognize and see, because it's not just a one size fits all, as we can tell from
the faces of LinkedIn, really. The person who's a corporate person, the entrepreneur, the thing. And Jacob, there you are, you shifted. You say you came out and did all that stuff and tested, but your brand, you as a personal brand, evolved, and that's how you became. You're all about happiness and smile. The CEO smiles. Like, you didn't know that or come out like that. Getting out there, testing, that's how you evolve. Like, so your brand, your presence, whatever you want to call it, because you're not out here to, win business. You're just here to, get to know people, right, Jacob?
I'm kind of getting to that point, but yeah, I mean, for the past longest time, it was just for fun, really. And it definitely can be too stuffy. So I like to shake things up too.
And that's your point of view, is LinkedIn's too stuffy. Be yourself, be personal. So ironically, that is your brand about,
it just evolved over time.
Yeah, it's going to evolve. So test it out is right, Nikki.
I think.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Nikki.
Bye, Nikki.
Bye.
Hey, was that you, Sharon? Who said something? Sorry, it's hard to see who's saying what. So if you, okay. Oh, hey, Andrea.
I think though that with those examples, it's exactly what you were just saying. You kind of have to know what their objective is too. Because just because somebody is an entrepreneur, for instance, and they don't post anything directly about their business, maybe they're not using it for lead generation. And you want to use LinkedIn for lead generation. So is that really a good example for you?
Well, let me give you an example of Jacob and I, great connection is Ariel Lee, right? So Ariel Lee is a financial, if you guys know her, follow her, she's amazing. She's in this group and she started on LinkedIn in like July 2020 and really started blowing up last year, but she's a financial advisor. And I think even halfway through last year, she got out of their social media program. So she cannot say exactly what she does. You won't even see that in her headline. She just talks about her brand just evolves because she's like the queen of engagement. She has like LinkedIn Ariel. She's like a unicorn, a numbers person who's totally happy, cheery. Her posts are just about, what would you say, Jacob? Just whatever. I mean, and she has a big following. She gets all her business on LinkedIn just by being herself, right?
Yeah. Ariel and I, we started on LinkedIn like at the exact same time. She was one of my first probably 500 connections. And yeah, she just took off from there. She had the same struggle with compliance for being a financial advisor, but basically she removed everything related to financial advisor from her profile in order for her to basically do whatever she wants on social media. She just can't talk about her job. But before that, having that struggle, she talked a lot about just different things. I can't even tell you, just different life things. Yeah, pretty much.
Like lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, lifestyle. Yeah. Her hashtags, listen, y'all. I put her thing in the chat. She's in this group. And like, so because she just talks about nothing, and it's like Seinfeld, like she talks about nothing in a good way. Like she's so engaging and friendly. And she'll go and engage. I don't know how much she's doing it this year, but she engages on everyone's post. Everywhere you pull up the feed, there's Ariel commenting. That's her thing. Like her engagement rate was off the charts. She's very friendly and warm, Southern. So she got business that way. I mean, she doesn't talk about her business, but she just says she gets business that way, right? So there's so many ways to do LinkedIn.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the consistency. I'm going to run in just a minute, but I will mention it's the consistency part, right? Like we all try to figure out, myself included, what posts to share, when to post, how often to post, and all of that, which is great. I mean, that's part of the strategy, right? But when it comes down to it, it's the consistency and it's us showing up as often as possible. And I will say, like, this example I'm going to share is to motivate all of us. It's not to say that this happens all the time, because it doesn't. But I had somebody that was a new connect on LinkedIn back in November that I reached out to and connected with. They started to follow my posts, which, I mean, I try to be regular on LinkedIn, but I wouldn't say that I'm consistently every single day, several times a day, but at least once a week for sure. And then we had our first call recently, and they informed me that they loved my consistency on the platform. And that's what got them to the call, which now they became a client and in that short amount of time. And to me, it just blew me away, because again, in my head, I didn't think I was as consistent on LinkedIn as maybe other platforms. So goes to show you that for us, we're our worst critics, right? And we get tied up in the not knowing what to share, so we don't share. But if we can be consistent, whether it's sharing or commenting, it shows our face, it shows our personality, and it allows us to keep showing up, which therefore puts us in front of those people. And they're like, hey, I need to talk to you because I keep seeing you everywhere, right? It almost doesn't matter what we're saying.
Yeah, keep seeing you everywhere. Don't give up. Like, give it a good 90 days. Like, I mean, I do it the whole year, but I started seeing a little bit of traction within 30 days, as far as results, but you got to stay at it. Those that dropped out are the ones that, and they didn't have their full potential reached, just remember that. Great advice, Ed. And I know we're at the top of the hour and respect everyone's time. Let's say this, in 2 weeks, we show up. I'm thinking around a lunchtime thing, so some of our friends globally can meet us, and do you guys like this open forum of back and forth examples? Shout out what else you guys want to see, because we're here to grow together. Anyone else?
It might be helpful if each, I don't know, I don't want to like make it really strict, but if each session had a focus.
Yes, a focus.
Like strategy, how to, how do I get my roof of my pillars? So like you really should have like one content pillar and then like 3 or 4 subtopics, because
Okay.
if you're just kind of pray and spray, you know, it
No,
just,
no, that's not good. Yeah,
yeah,
I like that. Yep. I
it's,
was thinking that.
I just said, you don't want it to be like so strict, but it's just like, well, I don't really want to, you would say, I don't really want to engage or that, or I don't need that information, so I may not spend time going to that meeting. That's just a suggestion.
No, no,
for
it's good. I
going-
was thinking about theming it. Today's theme was welcome and introductions and kind of
Yeah.
getting what you guys liked and stuff. So what I'm hearing is engagement and content. Would you say those are your top areas that you're interested in? Maybe 2 weeks we talk about content. Would that be cool for everyone with some examples, things like that? You guys down for that? Okay. All right. Awesome.
I was just going to say, maybe Michelle, if you put a post in the group on the kinds of content, you know, for me, I'm trying to figure out the balance between personal and business and selling versus just being out there.
Okay.
So, you know, maybe create a list that way. And I mean, we probably have 10 or 12 meetings covered by doing that.
No, absolutely. Hey, and I want you guys to know if you have any questions or like where you're struggling, wherever, just put them in the thing, because that'll help me know where the majority needs help or where we direction for, you know, our bi-weekly calls. So yeah, totally got that covered. Anyone else real quick before we sign off? Any ideas?
I don't know if anybody would be interested in this or not. I attend a networking group actually on Zoom, and they spend a little bit of the hour doing breakouts within Zoom.
Yeah.
And I love that because I actually get to really have like dialogue with somebody rather than just one response. But I don't know. If the group's not into that, I'm cool. Whatever. It's just a thought.
No, I like that. I was thinking that too, but I think you need someone to help you manage the breakout stuff. So that's a great idea. So I'm going to put that, maybe we'll have like a map, you know, something down the road with that. I can find someone to help me manage Zoom. Okay. So profile makeovers, anybody else? I'm going to just save all this before we leave. Profiles. We can do one on profiles. Here's the thing, before you get out, I always say, make sure your profile is like good, because that way people know they're going to go check you out. So that's all good. So okay, well, what I'm thinking, every 2 weeks a theme, one tight hour, invite more people. We'll have this replay, and then we'll just ask questions, and then if we get to a point, we can do breakout groups for networking. End of the day, your brand and your, you know, everything's going to grow with a community. Your engagement's going to grow by growing community. So get to know all the people here. We're not a pod or anything. We're just, you know, these are your people. Go find them connect with each other. If you haven't connected with me, I'd love to connect with you. That's how you're going to grow too. So community and content, you know, and connecting.
Thanks for doing this, Michelle.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I'm doing this
Absolutely.
because
Thanks
I
for
know
doing
how transformative it was for me and all the people in it. And I just know the power of getting out there, right? For you, your business, everything, other people you help. So it's all good. So I'm here for you. Hit me up anytime you have any questions, because, you know, we're all in this together. Okay. So,
Thank
all
you.
right.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. Take care. All
Everyone have a
right.
great
Bye.
week.
Guys.
Bye.